Over the past 16 months since I started my YouTube channel, I've read 54 books related to YouTube. That's right, I'm an avid reader. And I love books, but I want to share with you in this video the 6 books that radically changed my motivation and my direction to help me build a YouTube channel that I started at 80 years old, have grown it to 44,000 subscribers now in 16 months, started a second channel, started a school group, have a wonderful relationship of loyal followers, and I love doing YouTube. And I would really love you to love doing YouTube. But I got to tell you, YouTube is not easy. These books won't make it easy. But I got to tell you, these books can help you achieve your goals on YouTube. Hi, this is Old Mike, old me, living better. You know my motto by now. If you ain't dead, you ain't done. So I'm going to share with you 3 books that have to do with motivation and mindset, and 3 books that have to do with strategy and tactics. The reason that I've chosen these books, and especially the first 3, because if you don't have the right mindset, the right framework, and the right motivation, YouTube will literally eat you up. The last 3 books have helped me develop a strategy and a presence on YouTube that has helped me to be earning $1,000 a month in passive income doing YouTube part-time. It's helped me to meet hundreds and hundreds of special people. So what's the first book in the motivation and mindset? Here it is. It's the book The Tip. By the way, all of the books I will list in the description with links. They're my Amazon links. You don't have to use those. Use any link. That's fine. But all of these books, I have the hard or paperback version. I have the audio version if it's available, and I have the Kindle version. That's right, the books I'm going to share with you today, I've got 3 versions of most of these books. I'll explain to you the difference of those in just a moment, but let me talk about this first book. If you don't buy any other book in the list, except maybe the last one, this book, if you haven't read it, you need to read it. At some point in time, you will experience a dip in what you are doing on YouTube. Seth Godin does a masterful job. It's a short little book. He does a masterful job of sharing the principle in business and life. Doesn't talk about YouTube, but it sure fits a YouTube channel and growth. Talks about how we go through a dip, and it's in that dip that the decisions that are made, and he helps us to understand whether we should continue through that dip and ride it out, or if it's time to hang it up and do something else. Terrific book. Encourage you to get that book. So the second book I want to share with you is the book Drive. It's a terrific book by Daniel Pink. I've read it and reread it. I've used his theory of motivation. He calls it 3.0. He talks about motivation 2.0, which is stick and carrot. It's the old reward punishment method. Instead, he talks about something that I think is so important. It is that motivation involves mastery, purpose, and autonomy. It's a different kind of a motivation that locks us into looking at our YouTube analytics, all of the things that we feel we don't get paid, we get paid, we get viewers, we don't get viewers. There's a whole different reason and motivation to do YouTube. I encourage you to get the Drive. It was a game changer for me about halfway through my YouTube experience. It got me off all of the analytics and got me onto the purpose of what I was doing YouTube for. The third book is Mindset by Dweck. I discovered early on as I was reading through these 54 books that are talking about this concept of a fixed mindset or a growth mindset. And they were always quoting Carol Dweck. So finally, after a couple of months, I went and I got her book. She's the one that came up with this. Book's a little dated because it's old. I think it's about 20 years old. But the research that she did in putting together, the book is worth the first 3 chapters. I got to tell you, I thought I had a growth mindset until I started working through this book and discovered, man, I had a lot of things that were fixed that needed to be growth, and I had some growth things that needed to be fixed. It really helped me sort out what I was going through in starting a YouTube channel. It applied to a lot of different things in my life, but specifically to YouTube. So these are the first 3 books that I think that every creator needs to get going for having the right mindset for YouTube. Now, I said I was going to tell you why I listen to these books and also read them. Listening is a different kind of an experience. Daniel Pink especially reads most of his books. When you listen to a book, you get the emotion side of it. When you read the book, you at least for me, I do it from a study perspective. I love listening to a book that the author reads. Their emotion, their intent, so many things go into the reading of that book. I got a lot out of, all of Daniel Pink's. I like it, just about everything that he writes. But Drive was especially great. So I listened to the book first, and then I got the hard version or the paperback version, and then I began to study it and go through that. And if you notice, I've got it underlined and marked up and all sorts of things, because you can't do that in an audio book. Pink says, the most deeply motivated people, not to mention those who are most productive and satisfied, hitch their desires to a cause larger than themselves. That's on page 131. That fits all 3 of these books on mindset and motivation. Well, let's move over to talking about the strategy and the tactics for doing YouTube. I have 3 books I'm going to talk about, but I'm going to give you a caveat before I do. The reason is that every single one of the authors of these books somewhat use these books as lead magnets for their businesses, for their courses, for their YouTube channels. They're kind of a funnel. The book acts as a funnel. As a matter of fact, one of the books, two of the books I'm going to mention, there's every other page, there's a QR code to check in with them and to book a personal phone call. I actually went through and did a personal phone call. It was a hoot. It's on one of my videos, but I won't go into that now. But I'm just going to warn you, these 3 books have ulterior designs within them. That doesn't mean the books aren't worth reading. They are worth reading. Matter of fact, one of these books is so strategic to what I've done on YouTube, I credit the book to helping me financially support my channel. These are great books. So with that as an understanding, the first book is Hook Point by Brendan Kane. Brendan's a great author. You've probably seen him on YouTube. He's got his own channel. This is one of his earlier books. I absolutely love this book. It's subtitled, How to Stand Out in a 3-Second World. Well, I can relate to that. I stand in front of my microwave and say, hurry up. I want my coffee. I want my chicken. So the idea is that if you have not won over or made an impression or somehow be memorable in the first 3 to 30 seconds of any kind of a meeting. Now, he talks a lot about social media, but he also talks about just meeting somebody at a dinner or a networking meeting. The first 3 seconds to 30 seconds of any conversation will set a framework in that other person's mind. Hook Point is terrific. He goes through so many examples, key examples, step by step, developing the intro, the first seconds of your video. Now, I don't know how good I did in the opening of this video, but I have this book in the back of my mind every time I do a video. The second book in the strategy section is Wealthy and Well-Known. I hate the title to this book. They ought to take out the wealthy and just put well-known. Rory and AJ Vaden. It's a terrific book. They're both Christians, so I like the particular direction that they go in. Rory comes up with an idea in the book. It might have been AJ. I can't remember which one did, but they say that your who is more important than your why. Most of us know of Simon Sinek's book, Why, Know Your Why. I think that's the title of it. Everybody says you've got to know your why. They argue before you can know your why, you got to know your who. And that's what the book is a lot about. The book is a book about building your identity, your brand for your channel, for your business. I love the book because it goes into back into some of the motivation ideas from the first three books. It goes back into purpose and motivation and adjusting to your audience. How is your audience going to perceive you? I think this may be one of the best books on building your personal brand that I've ever read, and that's why I recommend the book. Lastly, I want to recommend Justin Moore's book, who's become somewhat of a friend of mine, Sponsor Magnet. The two books on this entire list that you should buy if you're a YouTube creator. The first one, The Dip by Seth Godin. The other one is this one. So the first and the last. This book by itself, now it came out in January 2025, and I believe I bought it a couple of days after it came out. I had heard about the book. The audio came out in the middle of the year. I also have the audio to it. But I'll tell you why this book is so important. In 2025, I landed in excess of $10,000 worth of sponsorships. And I had a whole lot of other collaboration deals. This book by itself gave me the framework, the understanding to know what a KPI is, to ask the right questions of sponsors. After reading this book, one of my criteria is before I will have a sponsorship deal, I require a Zoom call with the president, vice president, or somebody who's in the head of marketing and development. Those seem to be maybe extreme kinds of things, but they're the kinds of things that Justin talks about in this book. If you don't read this book, I can guarantee you will leave money on the table. I was in a negotiation for 2 months with a sponsor, and if I had not read this book, I got to tell you, I would have left literally hundreds and hundreds and thousands of dollars on the table. But instead, I was able to develop not just a short-term, but a long-term sponsorship, understanding deliverables, all of the language that you need if you're going to get involved with sponsors and collaborations. At a very minimum, you need to know the language. You need to know what to ask. If you don't know what to ask, you will leave money on the table. So there's my 6 books. If you can get these books in audio, do that. Listen to them for the emotion and the overall content. Get them in the hardback also or paperback so that you can study and mark them up. Those two things in combination are terrible. Oh, yeah, and you can buy my book. Oh, wait a minute. I haven't written my book yet. Well, I've sort of written it. Oh, my word. One more project, right? Hey, I hope that you consider joining my school. I'm having a lot of fun with that, and I'll leave a link in the description to it. But a wonderful group of creators in there helping each other to grow and to grow our channels, and it would be wonderful. I'd love to see you in there. But this is old Mike. Old me living better. I may put a video up here. I don't know. I hadn't even thought about which one I'm going to do, but I'll put something up there. Okay. I hope you have a great week. I hope you read these books. I hope your YouTube channel is a success. And you are a success. Remember, if you ain't dead, you ain't done. At least I hope I am not dead and done. I think I'm okay. Hey, I'll see you next time.